Welcome to MarcusG.tv. I am Chef Marcus Guiliano, and I'm a chef on a mission, chefonamission.com. Jamie, what's today's question or controversy?
So today we're going to be talking about juices versus smoothies, the differences between juices and smoothies, and then if there's any controversy that goes around the issue.
Sure.
Tell me a little bit about juices and smoothies.
Okay, so first off, a juice is something where you extract the pulp and there's no pulp left. The pulp gets kicked out and you just drink the juice. So there's no fiber in it. A smoothie is something where everything is still, the whole fruit or vegetable is still part of what you're consuming. So smoothies tend to be thicker in viscosity and a juice is thinner. Makes sense, right, Jamie? Because we've been doing this for years.
Excellent. So how do you actually make a juice or a smoothie? What is the differences between the blenders versus juicers?
Sure. So a blender makes a smoothie. That's like a Vitamix or any kind of home blender. That's where you put everything together, blend it up, and then drink the whole thing. A juicer, there's several different types of juicers, but a juicer is something where you put the fruit or vegetable into the actual juicer, and it has two compartments. One compartment to separate the pulp and one compartment to drop the juice.
Excellent. What would you consider one of the best blenders out there on the market?
We like the Vitamix. We've been a fan of the Vitamix for years. The one we own right now is 10 years old. And I know people say, oh my gosh, the Vitamix is so expensive. They're $400 or $500. We spent $425, $450 10 years ago on one. And we use it, how many times do you use a day in the kitchen, Jamie? 10 times a day?
At least.
So, and the thing is still going and going and going, which means it's cost me less than a penny a use, like a half a cent a use. It's when you buy quality products, when you buy a quality knife, when you buy a quality pan, the life expectancy is so much longer. And the great thing about these things, Jamie, is they're much more pleasurable to use, so you're gonna get more use out of it. If you buy a blender that's not strong enough, you're gonna get a really gritty and grainy and pulpy, way too pulpy
and then you're
smoothie.
not gonna enjoy
You're not gonna enjoy it.
And then you're not gonna use it.
So you're gonna spend $100 on a blender that you're gonna end up saying, well, I don't want to do this anymore, and you're gonna waste $100. So what's the big deal if you spend $300 more, get something that the professionals are using, and enjoy it for 10, 20 years, because you know once you have it, you're gonna have it.
Excellent. Tell us about the different types of juicers that there are.
See, so when people ask me, well, I want to start juicing, what should I buy? Well, the first question I ask them is, what do you want to juice? Because that makes a big difference. There's three types of juicers. One of the most classic juicers out there is called the Champion. That's a masticator, which has a cylinder inside that has teeth on it. And it looks like a meat grinder. You put the fruits and veggies through, and it masticates it. So it just basically pulverizes everything up. It has a screen on the bottom, so the juice falls out, and it past the screen pushes the pulp. So that's a masticator. A Champion is probably one of the most all-purpose juicers you can get, fruits and veggies. It's great. The next type of juicer is a centrifuge. Those are the ones that you see on TV all the time that Jack LaLanne is pushing, and that's the ones you just push down and zzz, and you hear that high buzzing noise. It has a round compartment, like basket inside. It has teeth on the bottom, and the sides are all a mesh. So that is a centrifuge, like a centrifuge. It spins it. So once the fruit or vegetable goes in, it hits the teeth and it gets spun at a high speed. The juice drops down, and the pulp spins out and goes into a separate compartment. That's a centrifuge. The last one is an auger. An auger looks like a meat grinder. It goes at a very low temperature, low speed, and what those are good for is those are good for greens. If you're juicing parsley, cilantro, kale, wheatgrass, green leafy vegetables, those ones are the best. The centrifuge, what you can do in those, you can do carrots, apples, ginger. It's sort of more of an all-purpose juicer, but you can't do wheatgrass in there. You cannot do wheatgrass in a centrifuge. It won't work. You can barely do wheatgrass in a Champion. Okay, the Champion's kind of all-purpose. You can barely do it in there. The centrifuge, green leafy vegetables, they don't work as good, like parsley and cilantro, and wheatgrass definitely will not work in that whatsoever. So the nice thing about the auger is Omega makes what they call their nutrition center, which that'll juice everything. It just takes longer to juice. It'll juice pineapple, it'll juice carrots, cucumbers, beets. It'll juice it all at a very low speed. The last type of juicer is a press, like Norwalk makes a press. Those juicers can get very expensive, $700, $1,000, even more for a home version. And what that does is it actually just compresses what you're juicing, and there's no temperature fluctuation in it, and it's really a phenomenal juicer. So that's the difference between, there's 4 types of juicers. I think I might have only mentioned 3, but there's 4. That press juicer is a phenomenal juicer.
Excellent. What are the general rules on fruits versus juices?
Okay, so here's what most people do. You make smoothies out of fruits and you juice vegetables. That's the general rule. When you get into juicing vegetables, you want massive concentrations. You wouldn't make a kale smoothie, but you'd make a banana smoothie. You'd make a pineapple smoothie. You'd make a fruit smoothie, like a berry smoothie. You wouldn't make a kale smoothie. Follow the difference. You wouldn't make a cucumber smoothie per se. Those are the things you want to juice and get massive amounts of the nutrients. So when you juice kale or parsley or cucumbers, you want to concentrate, because it's all concentrated matter, it's all concentrated nutrients. That's what you want. You can juice watermelon, you can juice honeydews, you can juice cantaloupes, you can juice that kind of stuff. Apples, but typically that kind of stuff is going to go into a smoothie. Now there are some exceptions, Jamie.
I was just going to ask you.
Because when you're making a kale smoothie, you don't want it all to be kale. So you're going to want some buffers in there. People sometimes want some sweetness. So things like an apple are things that you can always juice as a buffer, adds bulk. To add bulk to my juices, I like cucumbers. They're inexpensive, especially if you buy the organic ones, they're inexpensive versus other organic things. And they add a ton of volume to your juice. So your juice all of a sudden now looks big. So now you can put your few things of kale in, your few things of collards, some ginger, lemon, things like that. So juices versus smoothies. Fruits, you typically want to make a smoothie. Vegetables, you typically want to juice.
Excellent. What are some easy juices for people to start off with?
Easy juices, sure. Like an ABC, apple, beet, carrot. Perfect. Apple, beet, celery. That's perfect as well. Carrot juice by itself is great. Apple juice with lemon. These things are apple, lemon, and ginger. Very easy to make. I mean, you can buy a recipe book. There's a lot of recipe books out there. We've been using, I like The Joy of Juicing. That's a great book, but there's literally juice after juice after juice book out there.
And you could use the internet too, and just use your imagination.
You can use your imagination, exactly. If you like to eat it, try to juice it.
What are some simple smoothies to start off with?
Well, our smoothie that we like the most is just water and bananas. Water and bananas.
Cinnamon.
And cinnamon. You can add a little chocolate cacao in there if you want. You can add a little bit of peanut butter.
Vanilla.
You can add a protein in there like hemp. You can add, I like that flax oil because it's a very anti-inflammatory, so I'm a big fan of flax. Apple and water, apple and milk, apple and almond milk is what I'd really recommend if you want to do some type of milk in there. But we just like water. Water and bananas are perfect for me. I mean, that's just so simple. I can add some berries in there. I can add a handful of goji berries, strawberries, raspberries, blueberries. It's very simple.
What else can be added to smoothies other than what you just mentioned? Are there any other things?
Well, you can fortify your smoothies. That's one difference between juices and smoothies too. You wouldn't take a juice and all of a sudden add protein powder to a juice and add like maca or something or mesquite or some kind of superfood. But these are things you can actually add to a smoothie. You can add the maca, which is a great adaptogen, great for energy, great for stress. You can add vanilla powder. You can add protein powder, your choice of protein powder. I'm a big hemp fan, so that's my number one thing that I add when I add protein powder. So smoothies, you can add all kinds of things and make this really massive, nutrient-dense drink.
Excellent, Marcus. Thank you so much. Anything else you want to add?
I think that's about it. Juices versus smoothies. Hope that helps you decide what you're getting, a juicer or a blender. Now, typically, if you're getting serious about this, you're going to want to get both. And if you're really serious about drinking different types of juices, you're probably going to want a couple different types of juicers. That's the bottom line if you really get into it. I'm Chef Marcus Guiliano. Thanks for watching. If you like this video, please hit like, subscribe to my YouTube channel, and share this video, please.